Hi, this is Edwin Mendoza, and today I wanted to talk about what has been the best advice that I've received by many students that have done well in the OMSCS program, and why it's helped me the most and can probably benefit you too. Chronos Matrix. Focus on what matters most. Visually keep your goals in check and create new goals so you can stay on schedule. Watch your daily, weekly, and monthly results to stay focused. Free time optimization app. Out of all the different types of advice that I've gotten from either former students, people that just couldn't make it through the program and decided to withdraw early, and people that have done just all different levels of people I've seen, they always comment the same thing. And if you go to OMS Central, you're going to see this all the time, and it's do the homework as soon as it gets released. Even though as programmers we tend to be kind of on the lazy side and we think we're brilliant and we're just going to go out there and do something, absolutely extraordinary in 5 minutes. This is a program that's very rigorous and very time consuming. So even if you're very aware of the type of work that's necessary for that particular project or homework assignment that you're going to be working on, the whole point of doing the homework early is because you're going to have roadblocks. There's going to be technical glitches. You're going to have issues with the software that nobody else has because your system is set up in a different way or whatnot. And that extra time is what's going to help you get the assignment done. And I did this in my first 2 semesters where I kept hearing the same advice, start on the homework as soon as it gets released, because usually they release it on Monday, and you'll have, depending on the class, you'll have the 1 or 2 weeks to work on it. But the problem with the whole I'll leave it for later mentality is that you have no idea of all the technical glitches you're going to encounter, the error codes that are not going to work. You're working with auto grading systems where you're trying to submit an assignment and it gets chopped up in the system, like something's not working. So then you have to post on Piazza, pray to the heavens that somebody answers in time, because also realize even though you make a post on Piazza asking for help, first, you don't even know if anybody's going to respond. And second, maybe they respond once the assignment's already due. So you're either going to get hit with some really heavy late penalties, or you're going to get no points whatsoever for the class. And like I mentioned in other videos, if you're not doing incredibly well by that withdrawal period, you're kind of incentivized to drop if you really need the course, right? And what would be the point of getting a C or a D in a class if you're going to have to retake it anyway, right? So the sooner you get on the homework, as simple as it sounds, like that, for me, that's been the biggest tip. That once I made that change, so since I'm working out of the businesses, I have other applications that I'm working on. Usually the beginning of the week, it's like, that's where my brain is at, right? It's like, I really want to work on my own projects. I have this idea. I want to, try this. So what I just recommend is, almost like put a pin in the idea, right? So jot it down, write it down somewhere where it's like you can just get at it later, and just put like a calendar note on it. This is what I actually use my app for. Why I have it set up for weekdays and weekends, and I structure it that way also because there's just certain items like, but if you're studying for software development that semester, but you really want to be focusing on machine learning the next semester, well then focus on it on the weekends, right? Because if you really spend 5 solid days working on an application, it's like then on the weekend that can be our break. And as bad as that sounds, who takes a break while still working? I mean, that's just how most of us have been living this whole time. Even though I don't have like a day job, like I'm forced to do certain. This is how I've been spending the last couple of years, where it's like I'll be doing the Georgia Tech assignments on the weekdays, and on the weekends, that's when I try and catch up. Now, if it's a class that you already have a pretty good background in, right? Like for example, like in the education technology course, that was a great course. I'll probably do a video just on that one, because so far that's been one of my favorite courses I've taken. And that was a course where it's like what for the assignment that I created myself, what I wanted that course to be about, because you can kind of choose what project you want to work on. I already had 1.5 years of working in that particular programming language. I built a game. So I already had the programming language knowledge. Like I could already kind of do most of the things that I wanted to do in that assignment. So really I spent a lot of hours on that course, but I mainly spent the time just developing. It was just more time developing, doing exactly what I wanted the project to be about towards the end. Whereas the way most people are working on these assignments, if you don't know the programming language already, that alone is it's really going to be a drain. If you're already a really solid computer scientist, and it's like you understand how the structure of code works, you understand inputs and outputs and how to just refactor your code, even if you don't understand that particular programming language well, you can, hit the ground running in certain courses. The ones that are really hard, I would say don't even try. If you don't have a solid background in a course and you think you're just going to jump in there, not have a clue of that programming language, and haven't tried those techniques before in some other language, I highly doubt you're going to be doing well unless you're spending the entire week on that course. But most people kind of don't have that amount of time, right? Having other jobs, having work, having family, it's our time is usually very limited. So that's why I keep mentioning the sooner you can do it. I mean, unless you work Monday through Friday, there's just no way you can do it earlier in the week, right? Because I mean, if you have like a 9 to 5 and then you have to deal with family issues in the beginning of the week and there's really nobody else to help, I mean, that's going to be difficult. But yeah, I guess you're going to have make it work. So I'm not saying it's impossible, to make it through these classes. I'm just saying it's going to be very difficult, because if you get to your project by Friday or Saturday and it's due on Sunday, that's a very small window for setting up the assignment, making sure the autograder is working. I mean, depending on the class, a lot of these courses, you have systems where you have to connect with the Georgia Tech servers. So those things alone will probably bring you lots of problems. Now, luckily, because of the way Piazza is set up, the forum where people are asking questions and getting answers, you can go and see if somebody else has already addressed that particular issue. And a lot of times you will find the solutions there. But again, that's going to require time, right? So if you don't have the next hour or two to comb through other people's responses, you're going to have to go online and see if you can figure out a solution another way. So again, not that it's an impossibility, but if you're really crunched for time, I've seen a lot of other students too, just having to drop just because they didn't have time to, get the course set up right from the beginning. And that happened to me in one semester also, where it's like I wasn't even starting off bad in that semester, but it's like I knew I wasn't doing optimal, and I was spending my time focusing on other projects, trying to get into that class and focus that class later during the week, and it didn't work. So again, if you already have the preparation, go for it. It might work great for you. For all the rest of us mortals, it's like we're still, putting stuff together and we're still very busy. It's the best solution is to just work on the assignments from the very beginning of the week. Just get it out of the way. Because like I said, a lot of these courses, it's like, especially on a course with any form of auto grading, you're going to know, you're roughly already going to have a very strong idea of what you're going to get on as far as a grade on that particular assignment. So why not just spend the time getting it out? You already know you did well in that particular assignment, and then you can focus on something else. Because as the semester progresses, it's just going to get harder and harder. So if you're lagging and having a real struggle from the beginning, and thinking, well, I can put it off for later, and then later on I can, do great in one of the assignments, it's like, you don't know. I mean, it's possible, but it's like you don't know if that's going to happen. And that's an issue I had with Goodbye, knowledge-based AI, where I assumed it's like, well, with what I'm doing now, it's like I can, as long as I get a good grade on that final assignment, I'll be fine this semester. And no, they made it so difficult that had I had better grades in their initial assignments, which I could have if I just spent the right time and effort in the beginning of the course, I would have finished that semester with a good grade. So again, you're gonna have to spend time with it anyway. So it's better to spend the time early, get it finished as quickly as possible, so then you can focus on what you really want to work on the side afterwards. I mean, I know it sounds boring because, this is back to, going to high school. It's like, who wants to do the homework first and then, have fun doing something else. But in this particular case, you kind of have to, because some of these weeks, it's like, even though you try and do that, it's like, oh, I'll get to the stuff, my own work later on. Some weeks you're not even going to be able to. You're going to have so many technical difficulties and it's not perfect, and you're on the finish line there, that you really just have to put everything aside and finish the course. Luckily, not all courses are like that, but some of them are. So it's like you're just going to be spending all your time on it. And that's something else I'll be covering on a different video. How even though you think you can handle 2 courses, or even though you think you might be ready, it's think twice about it. Look at the reviews, what other people say about a certain course. And because you have to be very objective of where you're at and what you're trying to accomplish in that particular semester. Otherwise, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's like you are going to spend time and money, and especially time is what I'm really concerned with, because money-wise, I mean, OMS/CS is going to be probably one of the cheapest alternatives for a graduate degree. But for us, it's time, because time is opportunity, and the more you understand, the more of the stuff that you're kind of working on, what you're doing, you're going to have great ideas, and you're just not going to have time to implement them. So it's better just focus the time on what you need to be doing as quickly as possible, and get everything done fast, right? So you can get on to other projects. All right, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this video and what other themes you'd like me to talk about, and I'll see you in another video.